Hey guys, what is up? It is SSD Middleman here with GuidesForUsAll, and today I'm going to be showing you all of the unique weapons in the Gunrunner's Arsenal DLC in Fallout New Vegas. Let's get started. Starting us off today is the Embrace of the Mantis King, a unique Mantis gauntlet. It appears to be larger than the average Mantis claw. It also differs from the Mantis gauntlet as this weapon's glove allows for a free thumb. And unlike the smooth surface of the standard gauntlets, it has spines running along the forearm guard and a serrated edge at the claw. Now, this weapon has more range and power than the standard Mantis gauntlet, but will attack significantly slower due to the extra size and weight. This weapon will do 42 damage standard without any upgrades to it, which doesn't sound phenomenal, but it has a 3 times critical percentage multiplier, 64 crit damage, and a bonus crit damage and bonus crit chance effect added on to the weapon. So, this thing is actually pretty nice. You can successfully strike about 395 times from full condition before breaking. As you can see here, I'm just wiping the floor with these guys. I'm just smacking them once and their heads are coming off, and it is absolutely beautiful. Some bugs with the weapon: if a different weapon is equipped via hotkeys while you are using the Embrace of the Mantis King, then the Embrace of the Mantis King will still be shown as equipped. It just randomly happens. This is a glitch on Xbox and PC. And now for an Xbox glitch, the icon for Embrace of the Mantis King in the hotkeys incorrectly shows the melee weapon icon instead of the unarmed weapon icon. Just a little thing that doesn't really matter. This weapon's really nice in my opinion. I like using it, and I'd recommend it to anybody looking for a new gun, or new melee weapon to try. Next up is the Gehenna, the Gunrunner's Arsenal variant of the Shish Kebab. It is a flaming melee weapon which sets the target on fire upon impact. It appears to run on fuel from the gas tank on the player's back. Now, in comparison to the Shish Kebab, the Gehenna has a more pronounced and brighter flame, making it look cooler. Its valve is blue instead of the standard red, its handle is black, and the motorcycle gas tank is more rusted. Now, the Gehenna in gameplay inflicts greater damage, has higher DPS, and uses fewer action points and VATs than the Shish Kebab. So I know what you're thinking. Why would I even use the Shish Kebab if the Gehenna is so much better? My answer? You shouldn't. The Gehenna is just an amazing weapon, and if you haven't tried it out, I definitely recommend going and grabbing it, like, right now. Anyways, the Gehenna can successfully strike about 1,995 times from full condition before breaking, giving you a lot of flamey goodness from it before you have to go and repair it. Now, some behind the scenes about this weapon: Gehenna is a valley located outside ancient Jerusalem and was a place where various pagans sacrificed humans by throwing them in fire, and later, as Jerusalem and Judaism evolved, waste would be burned there. Due to the increasing population and thus waste, the fire was said to burn continually, and Dante used this to produce an image of hell, which is now the most widespread representation, a place where evil people go to burn for eternity. The Gehenna is also Aramaic for Lake of Fire, and it is one of the 2 Gunrunner's Arsenal weapons whose names reference biblical concepts, the other being Esther. Now, some bugs with the weapon. As every weapon in this game has, they have at least 1 or 2 bugs with it, because it wouldn't be Fallout if there weren't bugs. On the PC, sometimes when you switch between third-person view and first-person view, the flames don't appear. Removing and re-equipping the weapon fixes this problem. Might be kind of weird to use this weapon without any flames on it, and it setting people on fire. And on all consoles, when it's used by companions, the blade and tank will not appear, only the oven mitt on the right hand, which is absolutely hilarious to see your companion walking around with an oven mitt on, punching people, and setting them on fire. Anyways, let's move on to the next weapon, Greased Lightning. Ah, the Greased Lightning. You'll see why this weapon's one of my favorites in just a minute. It's an unarmed weapon power fist variant with an extra hydraulic shock. It's powered by a nuclear battery using the emissions from a radioactive isotope to generate electricity that greatly enhances the speed of its execution mechanism. It appears to have a nickel black metal plating with a radiation symbol painted on the top and 3 light copper colored pistons. On the fist's right side, there's a radiation risk warning sign. On the left side, there are 33 tally marks, which probably indicate how many kills the previous owner got with it. So this weapon, as you can see, strikes insanely fast. You punch with this thing like you're the Flash or something. It has lower damage than most weapons, or any other power fists, but it has higher DPS than all of them, besides the Industrial Hand from Lonesome Road. This thing is just awesome. It punches super fast, and it does pretty nice damage. Unfortunately, since it punches fast, you will be having problems with the condition breaking, because you can strike 995 times from full condition before breaking it. Since you punch so fast, you're going to be breaking this weapon down pretty quick. Now, watch when I use an uppercut special attack or just kill an enemy at all, and you will see their body go flying. That is one of my favorite things about this weapon. It is just hilarious to see them going flying through the air or slamming into the ground, or even when their body explodes, their giblets go everywhere. So some notes about the weapon. Even special unarmed attacks can be performed at extremely fast speeds, and targets can fly into the air, like I said, or skid across the ground when you kill them. And if the Brotherhood of Steel is hostile towards the player, Greased Lightning may be impossible to obtain because you have to get it from Torres, and he is set to respawn every 3 days. Even if Torres is dead, the Gunrunners may not sell the Power Fist. This may be fixed by uninstalling then reinstalling the Gunrunner's Arsenal add-on, and even if Torres is alive and the player has a good rep with the Brotherhood, Gunrunners will sell the weapon for some reason, I don't know. And behind the scenes, faster than Greased Lightning is an American idiom. The phrase was popular in the 50s and 60s, and it obviously refers to the weapon's high attack speed. As you can see, this thing is phenomenal, and even if you're not going to use it as a serious melee weapon, it is a lot of fun just to play around with, watching people's bodies fly through the sky. Does that make me sadistic? I don't know. Moving on to the Nuka Breaker. The Nuka Breaker is a Nuka-Cola sign. There's really not much else to it. It's been repurposed as a devastating melee weapon. It consists of partially functioning Nuka-Cola neon sign that uses a self-to-contain power supply, which is mounted on a pole with an electric cord wrapped around the top and tape at the bottom, and it does a bonus electrical damage when a critical hit occurs. This is one of the most makeshift looking weapons in the game, but it is also one of the most awesome. Have you ever wanted to, show off the Nuka-Cola brand while also simultaneously smashing people's faces in and watching them get electrocuted? This is the weapon for you. It has a special attack called Nuka Break, and you can even use it outside of VATS if you use the power attack button, but I prefer using it in VATS because you do this little ballerina spin and you just smash this thing down on people's face. It is pretty freaking awesome. It's technically a unique variant of the Rebar Club, if you were curious about that. It's just reskinned and can successfully strike about 995 times from full condition before breaking. Now, some notes about the weapon. The critical electric damage may come from the wiring around the pole, leading to the semi-functioning sign, which keeps it self-sufficient. There isn't, however, any sign of why electricity actually escapes it. It just does. It's just one of those game things that you should just accept. Don't question it or try to make any logic behind it. So the Nuka Breaker was created as a nod to the 2011 fan-made short film and web series Fallout Nuka Break. The Fallout Nuka Break team put the Nuka Breaker in Episode 3 after seeing it in a pre-release screenshot of Gunrunner's Arsenal before they even knew that Obsidian was referencing their series with the weapon, which is kind of hilarious actually. And the Nuka Breaker was also featured briefly in the 5th and 6th episode of the 2nd season of Nuka Break. So it's just a cool little nod off to a fan-made series, and I really like Bethesda, as they always do these kind of cool things. Anyways, moving on to the final weapon, the TwoStep Goodbye. The TwoStep Goodbye is a unique variant of the Ballistic Fist, and trust me, it is quite unique. It has only a single barrel mounted on the forearm, and sections of it are colored yellow as opposed to the standard monotone color scheme, and an explosives warning symbol is printed on the side. You'll see why in just a second. If a target is killed by a critical hit, the contact-triggered explosives will detonate within the fallen target after 2 seconds, subsequently dealing an extra 175 splash damage. Friendly non-player characters caught in the blast radius may become damaged and even turn hostile if you're not careful. Now what this means is basically if you punch an enemy and you get a critical hit when you kill them, they'll explode. That's as basic as I can put it. This weapon is very, very unique, and it has a really high crit chance multiplier, so you're going to be getting critical hits more often than not, and when you do, boom goes the dynamite inside of their body. Absolutely fantastic. Some notes about this weapon. Enemies hit or killed by it may fly a few feet back before exploding. It's very useful for sneak attack criticals because it allows you to determine where the bodies might fly before they detonate. And this weapon always makes a loud noise, so it cannot be considered a stealth weapon, as anybody that hears it will be alerted by its use. And there's even a beeping noise that warns the player about the secondary explosion before detonation, and is also considered an improved holdout weapon. Very interesting how you could sneak that thing into a casino. And it has very low critical damage, but definitely makes up for it with the second explosion. And the explosion that comes from the enemy's bodies is not affected by any explosive-based perks, which is just kind of weird. It's always going to do 175 damage, no matter what. Also, you need to be very careful when you use this, because if you're using VATS and you kill an enemy with a critical hit, you're probably going to be stuck inside the explosion, as you'll see a couple times in this gameplay. That 2 seconds does not wait for any man, and it will just hurt you really bad in VATS and possibly kill you. So, just some weird things about this weapon. I don't know, it's very, very unique. Probably the most unique in all of Gunrunner's arsenal, in my opinion. You're not going to find anything else like it. And for some reason, this weapon uses the intended Pip-Boy 3000 icon instead of the Power Fist icon previously used for the Ballistic Fist. There's so many weird things about icons in this game. I don't know why Bethesda does this. Some behind the scenes about this weapon. Ballistic Fists in Fallout New Vegas were supposed to use shotgun shells as ammunition, but it was not supported by the game engine. So, that's all I have to say about the unique melee weapons in the Gunrunner's arsenal, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like rating down below and subscribe if you'd like to see some more videos in the future. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.